Hey, good morning. Yes, it is. It is Saturday the 11th. So I apologize for yesterday. So what's been going on lately is between this unit and catching one of the bugs of many that's floating around, I'm either oversleeping or undersleeping. There should be a happy medium, right? But sorry about, so that brings us to sorry about yesterday with no video because it was 20 after 6 by the time I got up. And we had to go pick up a tractor and move it to the customer's house. So the day was pretty busy because I was going to do a short video at the shop. Some of the tips and tricks and stuff. So what are we talking about today? Well, it's a combination of two things. One is getting outside your comfort level. And the other is where to get some good deals on tools. So stay tuned. Alrighty, welcome back. My name is Eric, if you didn't already know it. And yes, this is the weekend. It should be the weekday on Friday because I didn't give one Friday. So it's going to be weekend show. But we're still going to talk about getting outside your comfort level. And what do I mean by that? I mean not willing to take on certain jobs because you don't know enough about them. And not willing to put the time in to learn them when they could be a cash cow. A prime example could be, compact tractors and tractors in your area, the older small ones. But if all you've done is turn wrenches on push mowers, riders, snow blowers, etc., then to take that leap requires a lot of effort on your part, right? And it can't be taken lightly. I mean, if you're not interested in learning how, then stay away from it. But what I'm trying to tell you today and trying to talk to you about is sometimes by getting out of your comfort level, it's going to save your business. And we all know how things slow down in the fall of the year, right? We're working on snow blowers. You're at the mercy of the weather, hoping that a big snowstorm hits and people start having breakdowns. But what can really help you out are projects that take more than just a quick tear down, wait for the parts to come in and then kick it out the door, right? If you're standing there twiddling your thumbs, or your mechanic is, that would be the time to brainstorm and see, what do you think? Now, I can tell you that a lot of mechanics are going to push back. They want you to continue paying them, but they don't want to have to learn something new, and they're going to say, absolutely not. Well, then, if it's something you want to do, tell them there's the road, because I can't afford to keep you on the books at the present rate. If that makes any sense. If you're a one-man band, then you could have a conversation with yourself, with puppets or whatever. But don't be afraid to take on something that's outside the box. And don't be afraid to approach things coming from outside the box. Whether it be advertising, how to fix something. The guys that tell me I don't know enough about them and I'm worried about causing damage. Every year we have new models come out. And you're going to say, yeah, but they're all kind of the same. Some are, some aren't. Some, the springs go differently. So if you go by experience, you could hook that spring up wrong, right? Where if it's something new, you might want to get the owner's manual or service manual. You can find them online pretty easily. And make sure that spring, because you could fight it for half a day trying to figure out why it's not tightening that belt. Well, because experience has told you it's supposed to hook here. It no longer hooks there. It hooks to a different place on the deck, you know. The thing is if we're not constantly learning and evolving, and we're not willing to change the way we do things, we may end up being prehistoric dinosaurs that get extinct, right? And I'm seeing that with a lot of the older shops, with the battery operated coming in. And there was pushback when the electric models, the old electric push mowers, and electric weed eaters, they just didn't hold up. They were cheap, but a lot of shops wouldn't touch them. And with your electric mowers, you still had the blade, right? And with the trimmers, you still had the head unit, right? And you could order parts for either one of them and tear them apart. But a lot of times they weren't worth it. And that brings us to, today, that we're being introduced to better battery handheld stuff. I think it's still in its infancy. I think it's going to do all right, with maybe trimmers, mediocre chainsaws, but the actual riders and that stuff, I'm not seeing it yet to have the battery capacity, especially for lawn care guys, to go all day. And if you have any kind of a yard, a size of a yard, then the battery may not hold up. And most of the units come with one battery, okay? But if you're not willing to change and accept these and work on these, what's going to happen? Well, what's going to happen is your customers are going to slowly start changing over. It's not going to be overnight. Your job is not in jeopardy. There's too many gas power stuff out there. But you're going to start seeing that changeover. You're going to start seeing less customers come to you if you don't offer any of the services, towards their battery operated stuff. And they'll probably be the first one to tell you can have their old push mower and their old rider because they're, retiring them. But you have to be able to get outside your comfort level as the new stuff comes in anyways. So to sit there and tell, for you to tell me that you're not willing to do so tells me you aren't going to be in business down the road. And if you're up in retirement years, that's okay. But if you're younger and you still have a good 10, 15 years before you retire, I'll tell you, these small tractors that are out there, the 8Ns, 9Ns, Jubilees and stuff, the people are willing to put money into it because it's belonged to a family member. So they're willing to put more money into it, all right, than what it's worth. Whereas a lot of the stuff that if people are just trying to get it to run and they don't have any sentimental value, then, you could get in over your head in a hurry. Because those guys that don't have sentimental value of being their dads, their grandfathers, uncles, grew up around the farm with them, if they just wanted to go into the woodlot or hobby farming and stuff like that, they're less likely to want to put a lot of money into it, even though to replace it with any of the tractors that are out there, you would be looking at probably 8 to 10 grand anyways. So if you could pick up one of these, 9N Jubilees, 8N Fergusons, for $1,500, and then put even another 1,000 in it, you're still farther ahead. But the ones that we deal with, and the ones that I line up for the fall winter, okay, I give them a discount to start with. But I know that our slow time is during the fall, all the way through winter until spring when people start getting their riders out again. I know that. So we can either sit here and twiddle our fingers, we can shut the business down until said time, or we can find and get outside of our comfort level and find something that we can take on, that we can learn. I mean, it's helpful with Claude. Claude is very good at what he does. And actually, he is more of a auto mechanic and a heavy equipment working in the logging or in the forestry department than he is small engine. But now you can't work on your own vehicles unless you have a computer to tell you exactly what's going wrong with it. As my son puts it, a parts replacer, it tells him where to look, what part to replace, and so forth. The forestry has gone the same way. A lot of your newer stuff that's out there for ag, you need a computer. I'm not talking those. I'm talking the older stuff. Pre-software updates of where you do need a computer. If you do need a computer and you're willing to do that, like a lot of times I see a lot of the lawn and gardens, they'll handle like the Bobcat line of homeowner series. Mahindra, the list goes on, all right? And some are just selling them. They don't do any of the warranty work. There's another shop somewhere that is doing the warranty work, and they'll take the warranty work. And then you have some shops that are doing it in-house, but that means you have to invest in the software. That's the big thing, is the software. And having a large enough laptop, memory, and so forth, and processor to run it. You know, if you go to most mechanics that are still working on the newer stuff, they've got a huge ass computer sitting at the back end of their shop that they plug into your vehicle, right? And it tells them when to start the vehicle, when to shut the vehicle off, when to pull the key. And then it goes into self-diagnostic mode. And when the issues started happening and where they are now, right? I mean, my truck even will tell me when my brakes shoes need to be replaced. Yeah. It's a parking brake failure is what they call it. But the parking brake's fine. It's the rear brakes on that vehicle. And that's where your parking brake is. So it's getting worn down enough that we need to replace them. The hard part is we're in single digits. It's a heat wave. Yesterday afternoon and today it's supposed to be up almost to 20. But we've been having highs of 8 degrees. And I really don't have a place to pull the truck inside and get heat on it. So we're kind of at the mercy of the weather. Even though my son told me before I had surgery, the truck needs to have the brakes changed. So if you're a shop owner and you're listening to this, check to see if there's a need in the area. If you've got enough work to cover the mechanics that are there, that's all fine and good, right? But if you don't, and some people are taken out of their personal finances, then you need to find other ways to have revenue come in. And if those mechanics that you're paying out of your personal finance don't give a rat's ass about you, it's time to let them go, honestly. They're there just for the money. You need people to be there because they want to be there and they want that business to succeed. You don't want people, the minute we start getting a little bit rocky, that they bail, that they jump ship. Might better have them do it right now than during the busiest time of year come next summer. And If there is nobody there and nobody wants to learn, look around and see who's out there that's 50 and older that has worked on these before and maybe looking for part-time employment or full-time. But part-time, pick up a retiree that could, adjunct their Social Security. There's a lot of good mechanics out there that would jump on that chance to work on the older tractors. But at that point, you have to let them lead the charge. They know what they're doing, hopefully. But you still need to look at the almighty dollar and cents, okay? So what am I talking about when I say I found a place for good tools? I don't get anything, all right? I'm not getting anything from telling you about this or this or this, okay? I don't have any sponsors. So if you hear it out of my mouth, then it's because I believe it and not because I'm being paid to. But Tume, Tume, I think it is, I found a couple weeks ago. And I saw the ad on Facebook, but don't click on the ad on Facebook because a lot of those are scams, okay? But go to Google and type in Tume, and it'll bring up the website. And what it is it's a site that represents all of these Chinese sellers. And I'll tell you, you can buy stuff for pennies on the dollar. Everything from clothing. I bought clothing from them, sweatshirts, long underwear, you name it, at half of what I pay locally. And I always say try to support your local people, but when you can get it for less than half for the same thing, it's hard doing that. But an example with the tools was just 3 days ago. I ordered a set of open-end wrenches, but they were the flex ones with a ratchet style. And Harbor Freight's got them for like a 5-wrench set for $27.99 metric or SAE. The set that I bought through Tume had a complete set. I think it was from 8mm all the way up through to 18. And I want to say 1/4 inch all the way up through to 3/4. And I paid $70 right to my door. You're saying, well, if you get the 2 sets from Harbor Freight, it's only $60. But you're only getting 10 wrenches. You're getting that many in just SAE and that many in metric through Tume. Do they have smaller sets? Absolutely. But I can tell you with the tools anyways, the quality is there. With the clothing, it's exact sizes. You don't need to order like 2 sizes bigger because the sizes they are listing with their listing is not for the size of a Chinese person. It's what the sizes would be in the U.S., okay? Now, some of the stuff is being shipped directly from China by air. And you may wait up to 2 weeks. But again, everything that I've got from them has been good stuff. And I've saved a lot of money. And actually right now I'm going through my old wardrobe and replacing it. Taking the old sweatshirts and t-shirts and all that and cutting them up for rags down to the shop so that they don't just go to the landfill or go to waste. But I've got a lot of t-shirts. They've got grease stains and everything else. Did I keep a few? Yes, because once I get the okay and I get this vest off, I'm going to go back to turning wrenches myself and getting my hands dirty. So check it out. Maybe it's not for you, but I've had really good luck with it. I can leave a link in the description if that would help you any. But again, make your own decisions on what you see. You may have a cheaper place yet that you go to, but I haven't found one cheaper than this because I normally buy our tools on Harbor Freight. Okay, so getting them on to me was the way to go. On that note, you guys have a great Saturday, and we'll see you here probably bright and early tomorrow morning. Sorry about yesterday, guys, but that's how they say people roll.